Welcome to your journey of healing with the Healing Podcast, hosted by licensed clinician Monique Owe and co-host Dr. Mohn.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Healing Podcast. I am your host, licensed clinician Monique Owe, and I am joined by my lovely co-host here,
Dr. Mohn.
Okay, so today's topic is starting over. Again, let me just mention that's starting over. So before we do that, let's get with our jump start of the day, and that is you don't always need a plan. Sometimes you just need to breathe, trust, let go, and see what happens. I think that applies very well to us in this podcast here. This is very new for us.
Yes.
You don't always have to plan. Sometimes things happen, but you got to see what happens, okay? Anyway, I hope you recognize that. You don't always need a plan. Sometimes you just need to breathe, trust, let go, and see what happens. So today's episode is about starting over. I just want to go ahead. We want to discuss what it's like to have to start over. Sometimes you'll find yourself in a predicament where you got to start again. And it never feels that great because you put so much time and energy and effort into whatever you used to have, right? Whether it, maybe you got to get a new home because you lost your home or your apartment. Maybe you lost your home because of a natural disaster and now all the things that you had are gone and now you got to start over again. Maybe it's because of your health and you've had to change some things. So now you feel like you got to kind of do some things very differently and it feels like starting over because you were so good. Maybe you were a gym person and now because of health, you can't really go to the gym anymore. So you feel like, what am I going to do to kind of get my health back on track? Because health-wise now I can't go to the gym for whatever reason. Maybe it's after a relationship, and after that relationship you feel like you lost a lot. You know, that happens a lot after a divorce. You feel like, where's my life going from here? I was a married person and now I'm not, and now I don't know which direction to go in. So whatever the situation is, I want to let you know it is okay to have to start over. It may not feel great. It doesn't feel exciting, but it can be a wonderful opportunity. You just have to get there. Dr. Mohn, what are your thoughts just in general about when you have to start over? What is that like, or what does it feel like? What do you think?
I mean, it could be very, very overwhelming. And I say that from experience. My house burned down when I was in 8th grade.
Wow.
And I watched, it was very, very stressful for me. But I watched what my parents went through. And,
wow.
A lot goes on when, you lose everything. A lot has to be done in a certain amount of time. And so it definitely is overwhelming, Monique.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I can imagine. Wow. Dr. Mohn, did not know you went through that. So as a person going through some type of a disaster like that, do you remember how you coped when you did go through that?
So one is just accepting that, okay, this is my situation now, and making a plan, just pausing, relaxing, breathing, and creating a plan. What do I need to do first? What is the most important? And then you just kind of, make a list of things that need to be done. And so you don't focus on getting it all done. What you focus on is completing each thing on that list. That really helped us.
Okay. I like it. That sounds good.
Yeah.
I like that, Dr. Mohn. Thank you for sharing that. And I think, what happens with starting over, sometimes we blame ourselves because of the situation or predicament, and that's not helping you. Let me tell you, blame is not going to get whatever happened back, okay? So stop with the blame. Something happened and it caused you to have to start again. It might even be a business. You might have had a business and it kind of failed, whether it's because of now the pandemic and maybe you lost your business, so now you got to start a new one. Maybe it was your podcast and maybe you had a lot of followers, a lot of listeners, a big social media following, but maybe your partner left or something happened to them and now you have to start a new podcast and now you got to start over again with listeners and building up followers. It is a journey and you got to feel like, gosh, I got to do it again. Or, starting a new relationship, having to move in with family because you lost your job. Maybe you lost your job and that's okay. Life happens. Let me tell you, life is going to happen. Whether it's a medical issue, whether it's a job loss, whether it's a relationship that ended, divorce, whatever it is, life is going to shift and you may have to start again, but that does not mean it's over. It's a new chance to do something differently. And hopefully now you're going to be better than before because now you have all that experience so that you know what to do going forward, right? So if you have lost your job or because of, let's say they had a layoff, well, it's nothing you can do about that. They were making cuts. If you were fired from your job, well, learn from the behavior, right? If you were late all the time, stop being late. Leave the house earlier. Prepare better. Prepare earlier. Be ready to go. If it's because you didn't put much effort in your work, the next job, put more effort into it. If you're so tired of working a job, then maybe it is time for you to finally start that business. So sometimes starting over is a welcome experience because it gives us new life and new vision and a new creation. So don't always look at it as a bad thing. Sometimes starting over is a good thing. So before we go into true healing tips about when you have to start over, why you want to start over, I want to segue into the situation segment. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Mohn so she can discuss our situation for today. Dr. Mohn.
Right. Thank you, Monique. All right, here's our situation. Dear Healing Podcast, I'm reaching out to you because I feel like my wife and now adult kids do not understand me. I started working at 14 years old delivering mail with my father. My 4 siblings and I were taught at a young age to work hard and to take good care of our families. Over the years, my wife and children have complained that I work too much. They get angry when I bring my work home and they accuse me always talking about work when we are spending time together. My daughter often talks to me about all of the good times we had when she was younger and asks when she will see the old me again. I will admit I do work a lot and I do talk about my job every chance I get. Healing Pod, I love what we do because it makes me happy and I feel fulfilled when I'm helping others. How can I get my family to see that I love them and everything I do is for them? Sincerely, all work, no play. That was a good one. All of these are good. And I appreciate you for trusting us with some advice and tips. And what I would say to this is, I kind of feel you because, I love doing therapy because I love helping others. I'm a social worker at heart. And so that is my joy. That brings me happiness. But one thing that I have learned, and I learned through watching my parents go through, working and all that kind of stuff, is that, your job and helping others should never replace, your family and the ones who love you and who will be there for you and who, deserve, most of your time. Your job, there should be a cutoff. There's got to be boundaries. And I get it. You work hard, you love, helping people, but you also love and have taught at a young age to provide for your family. And I definitely think that you can do all of that. You can work hard for your family. You can help others, but also too, you have to save time for the people who love you and who appreciate you and who are going to be there for you. And so you have to you have to create boundaries. I'm going to say boundaries. Monique, what do you think?
Well, I think you do have to have the balance. And yes, thank you again for writing into the Healing Podcast with your situation. And yes, you must create a balance. It cannot be all work and no play. That is not a life. I mean, the whole point we work is to have like a certain lifestyle. So what type of life is it if you cannot enjoy it with your family and loved ones, right? So yes, you have to be serious, but you got to take breaks, okay? You got to carve out breaks for the significant people in your life because those are the ones who are really going to be there. Those are the ones who are really going to stand by you when you're sick or you're just not feeling it. They're going to be supportive. Your job is not going to do that. Your job is very demanding and pulling you away. Those are the people who are going to surround and love you. So what I would say is maybe take heed to what your family is feeling and take a break every now and again. Plan a vacation. It doesn't always have to be a long one. You can do day trips sometimes. Do that. Spend time with your family. Remember the reason why you're working. You're working to have a certain lifestyle. So I would hope that you do take a moment to sit back, take out some time, because what you don't want to do is live your life in regret because you did not spend enough time with those you love because you were always working. And then you'll be stuck with a lot of money in your bank and no one to spend it on. So I hope that it's helpful to you. Thank you for writing into the Healing Podcast. And for those listening, if you would like to share your situation with the Healing Podcast, please go to thehealingpodcast.com, hit the contact me button and fill out that form, or you can go ahead and email support@thehealingpodcast.com, and we'll be happy to take down your situation. Want to give a shout out to our sponsor, which is healingexpressionsllc.com. Healingexpressionsllc.com is our sponsor. If you're looking for a therapeutic practice and services, please go ahead and contact them so they can go ahead and help you and give you an appointment today. All right. So going back to starting over, I just want to let you know, starting over can be depressing. You feel guilty. You're blaming yourself for it. And none of that is helpful. But I want to let you know it's okay. Sometimes we do have to start over in life. Stop blaming yourself. I don't care what happened. It happened. And now you're going to do something about it. So the first thing I want you to do is forgive yourself for whatever the situation is. Okay? Stop blaming yourself. That's not it. Number 2, I want you to stop comparing. Stop comparing your life to social media posts. in the lives of others based off of social media. That's just a snippet. That's not everything. You don't see the behind the scenes. Don't you know I could dress myself up real nice and put on makeup and look real great, but right afterwards I'm going through turmoil? Don't you know that's a possibility? And you won't see all that in a Facebook post. So stop maybe comparing your life to what you see on social media. Use it as motivation, inspiration to do better, but don't compare your life to that, because everyone's life is different. I want you to give yourself some grace and patience. So meaning don't put a time frame on it. Like, well, I lost everything by now. In a year, I need to be back to where I was or better. That's not true. It can happen quick or it can happen slow. The whole point is that it's happening. So I want you to give yourself some grace and patience. Number 4, I want you to consider therapy, just to talk to someone. That one, I think I want you to talk maybe to a life coach. If you go to a therapist, that's fine. Either one is a helping professional. I want you to talk to someone so they can help you kind of piece it together in segments, to help you organize it, right? To help you get those things back in order. So I want you to consider that. Number 5, I want you to surround yourself by people who inspire you, who motivate you, whether they are a social media influencer, whether they are a motivational speaker, a pastor, a spiritual advisor, whoever they are. I want you to surround yourself with those people and read books about that versus reality TV. It's cool. It's entertaining, but that's not what's going to get your life jump started. That's not what's going to help you start over. Trust me, it's not. It might give you a little motivation, but it's not going to get you jump started. They have their life. They getting their check. Realize they're getting their check. You need to get your check too. And you need to get your happiness too. So those are some tips I want to give you about when you have to start over and do things again. And you know what? Maybe this is time for the new vision. Maybe it's time for you to launch that business, that book, release the book, open the shop, open the bakery, sell your desserts, whatever it is, your fitness training videos. Do that. It is your time. So that's what I want to say about starting over. Let me go ahead and ask Dr. Mohn. Dr. Mohn, what would you have to say about people trying to start over and what they can do or how they should feel maybe?
I guess, when we talk about, feeling overwhelmed, oftentimes when you have to start over, depending on what it is you do, you feel overwhelmed. It looks like a hill where you can't see the other side. And so you just tackle that hill little by little. Like I said earlier, have a plan, create a plan, a vision, talk to whoever you need to talk to. And don't think that everything has to be done right then. It's okay to do things piece by piece. So
exactly. I like it. Exactly. Dr. Mohn told you, everything doesn't have to be done all at once. Piece by piece, right? Every house you see that you love is started with one piece of wood, one piece of brick at a time. That used to be nothing but land. And they somehow built this beautiful structure. It's one thing at a time. That's how we rebuild, one thing at a time. And even if things were supposed to go a certain way and they don't, that's okay. Just pick up those pieces. And as Dr. Mohn said, plan it out again. Just take it piece by piece. Allow people to help you. Okay. Oh yeah, be receptive to help. Hold on. Be receptive to help. Stop thinking you gotta do everything on your own. Stop that. It's a lot of pride there. Cut that out. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to move in with people. It's okay if even if you have to go to a shelter. It's okay. The whole point is you're gonna come back better than ever. You got it? Okay. Well, I do thank you today for tuning into the Healing Podcast. This was a very short episode. We just wanted you to go ahead and get some encouragement to know that it is okay to start over. And we thank you for listening and subscribing. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, co-workers, your loved ones, your enemies, because they need some healing too. So we hope that we're helping you. It is the Healing Podcast. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.